You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
You've heard me talk about Squares golf shoes and how they help you hit the golf ball further. And many of you are saying, oh, come on, Faldo, give us a break. How is that possible? But yes, they do. And it's proven with science.
What we noticed with the Square shoes was the shoe keeps the pressure in a more stable fashion towards inside of the trail heel, allowing pressure to get to the lead side, generating much more club and speed and distance gain.
Visit squares.com. Change your shoes, change your game. Squares, the distance golf shoe.
And welcome back to Big's Golf Talk BGT 2.0. Yes, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Subscribe with us on YouTube. Follow us on our social media, all at Big's Golf Talk. Also, you get all that information and subscribe to our special occasion newsletter. That means we're not going to flood your inbox with newsletters. We only send special ones out, such as like holidays with special deals and things like that. We won't flood your email, but you can subscribe to our newsletter at bigsgolftalk.com or bigsgolftalk.net, BIGGS golftalk.com or .net, and enter to win one of these.
Nice.
One of these.
Scope, the LX Plus. That means it's
the Big Daddy. The Big Daddy. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You can keep stats of your game by entering now for October giveaway. It is live starting today at BGT, bigsgolftalk.com or .net. So enter there. Man, we look good with Shervo, don't we? It was great talking to Elaine. What a nice lady she is, huh?
Yeah, she was really good. You know, it was good to have her on, getting that perspective. You know me, I'm a big fan of no dead airspace. So when you have somebody that can continue the conversation, knows her business.
We had some technical difficulties, and that was due to the hurricane. I'm sure that the internet was bouncing out and stuff like that. By the way, this segment is sponsored by the Distance Shoe. Squares shoes. Proof, not promising. Can you imagine us with a pair of Squares shoes all decked out in trousers from Shervo and the shirt and the hat? I mean, everything from Shervo.
And you know what's going to complement it? An Anson belt.
Yes.
Woo! We'll be ready for everything. We'll be ready for the nightclub.
And you know what's going to complement all that when we're during our round of golf?
Mm-hmm.
Is our Tour Edge golf clubs.
Oh, yeah. We got some big stuff happening with those things, too. Can they get any better than what they are? People are going to have to find out. They're going to have to wait to find out. You got to wait to find out.
How about if we bring in the wisest man in golf?
I think we should bring him in. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you from Golf the Wise Way. Greg Wise joining us here on Big's Golf Talk BGT 2.0.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. You know what? Your sea looks really, really calm with the hurricanes that are hitting. So
yeah, well, it's different. You know, the waves are crashing, but all is good.
Cool.
You were able to pause it in motion and then afterwards release the pause button, right?
Yeah, well, Beverly was going to be back there waving it, so it looked like it was really moving, but I said, no, go away.
In all seriousness, Hurricane Ian made landfall just before the weekend here, and how did you guys survive it?
We survived. Originally, the track was coming right through Ocala, and then it kept moving, and was going to come in Cedar Key and go back out around Jacksonville. So the more it stayed south, and unfortunately it hit Fort Myers, which affected a whole lot of people. It gave us some wind and rain. I was outside just a little bit ago, and we've got a few limbs down and some moss out of the trees. And short of that, it's just wind and rain. And unfortunately today it's 64 degrees here in Ocala. So, we all have jackets on.
Oh, 64.
Really?
I remember when I told people that, and people are like, 64 degrees and you got a jacket on. Yeah, it's cold. They don't understand. Our blood thins out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing in New Mexico. I mean, I moved from the Midwest, and I mean, 64 degrees in the Midwest, and I'm in shorts and tank tops and golfing, and barbecuing and having cigars outside. Here, 64. I want the heat on, and I mean, it's jackets
Put on that
and all
patio
that
heat.
Oh yeah,
turn it up.
Yeah.
And
But
don't run out of propane.
So we reported earlier, Greg, 1 million residents in the state of Florida are without power. Did you lose power or?
About 20 minutes in the middle of the night. The strange thing is I'm sitting here listening to a neighbor that's got a generator running, and apparently they don't know that the power is actually on. So kind of strange.
Wasting gas and resources for themselves. Can you imagine
Exactly.
that? It doesn't make Yeah, I get you. No matter how long you live in it, do you really? I mean, you're pretty efficient. You and Bev, you have your stuff together. But a lot of people, they're just like, it's just another hurricane until it hits. And then it's not another, because you don't know. We don't know. I got hit with 3 in 1 year, and the only thing that happened was that one of my palm trees, took a dive. Other than that, I didn't have anything. But then you have the others that have total devastation. Their houses are older. They're not built for 150 mile an hour winds. So it's all different on what you got.
Well, I think the main thing is when the TV crews show up at manufactured housing communities that are 40 and 50 years old and set up and go, there goes a roof. Well, it was probably going to go anyway. And now that they get insurance money to replace it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we were talking about that earlier. You just don't know what these camera crews are going to show, where they're at, and it's usually
real.
Yeah, you really don't, and we've learned that from the broadcaster that was being blown away and the other guys riding the bike behind him. So we learned the hard way that you can't watch and listen to everything.
All right, enough of this weather talk. We just send out our
prayers. Blah blah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other stuff.
We have a couple other things to talk about, including the U.S. retaining the President's Cup. And Greg Wise, you were on location, and how much of a fun event was that?
That was actually really fun. It's interesting, and I don't know what pictures you're going to show. But, well, okay, yeah, you're going to show those for sure. Standing on the first tee, and 15 feet to the right of you and 15 feet behind you and 30 feet to the side where you take your backswing is nothing but a tunnel of people looking at you. And to stand on that tee and tee off that number 1 hole would be very intimidating at best.
Mm-hmm.
That guy gives a brand new meaning to Captain America.
There's a few of them. I think that's the most fun about going to these kind of events. Besides all the guys drinking and ladies
why does that guy look familiar?
That wasn't me. I'm sorry.
Show that picture again if you can. Doesn't it? You know what? That looks like a slender George McNeely.
Right? George was actually there, and he said that was the first event like this he had been to, and it was really fun. But this wasn't nearly as much fun as the Ryder Cup, because it's just a little different attitude. But it's more fun to watch the people, because ultimately you're going there to be patriotic, and you're rooting for your fellow country players, let's say, but yet you're also rooting for the underdog, because the guys from the international team were such underdogs. You wanted to see them do better. And I think they really proved themselves that they were strong this year.
Here's an inside look for those people that always ask me when I do work from on location from a tour event, some kind of event, a tournament or something like that, and we're representing the media. Where do we do our work from, and how can we report? Yeah, I mean, here's what it looks like, for us in the media room, and as you can see, there's leaderboards and all that stuff. There's TVs, and we have our very own spots. Typically, got our names on it, and nobody else can sit there. But that's what the media room looks like, and that's how we do our work. So
that's typically a small one.
Yeah,
and but it was very well done.
Some of them have the broadcasting booths in the back.
Eat well?
For plastic. Oh, did you eat well?
Well, okay. So I was going to say the other next part was behind the screens. There was some great food, and then behind that was an interview space that was like, okay, well, interviews are great, but let's go back to the food room.
Let's go. When you were first covering and stuff like that, me and you spoke, and you had an interesting event that you got invited to play in. It's part of the President Cup, so you might as well cover the whole story because I thought it was really funny. So go ahead, tell us that story.
The interesting part was about a week before we were going up, I got this invitation from Rolex, who was doing, the Rolex people, that they were doing a media event for a tournament in the right next door to Quail Hollow is another country club, and they actually rented the country club for, let's see, there was 36 players to come over, writers and media people, to just show their support for media. And they invited us out to play, and they lunch, gifts, tea gifts, that type of stuff. And we were playing a Stapleford type format. So we had a foursome, we played, and they sort of went third place up, and they had not told anybody who won or who was first or second. And I was sitting there going, I really like that cool green bag that they were going to give out because it had a big logo gold stamped on it. And lo and behold, our foursome won. And it was a nice carry bag, like you travel and have a satchel on your shoulder. And it was a great carry bag. And so they all ran away to catch and go back to the event. And I stood around and talking to the Rolex people. And when I got back to the media area at Quail Hollow, one of the guys that I played with said, that was so much fun. I personally started out with 3 double bogeys right out of the gate. And they're probably thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? And then proceeded to go par, birdie, birdie, par, birdie, birdie. So I became their best friend. So when we got back there, Alex came up to me and he goes, that was so much fun. I said, man, you should have stuck around. He goes, why is that? And I raised up my hand and I said, they gave us the Rolexes for anybody that stuck around afterwards. And he had this really shocked look on his face. And he goes, are you serious? And I went, no, not really, but it was fun. And so I made 4 great friends. And they're kind of all over the world, but that's just the things that you do when you're in the media. You have fun.
You have to have fun.
Not to mention for fun, but the President's Cup itself was a fun event for the families as well. Some of the things that you could see here that they had for people that was attending the putting course and all that, and you can see the families are there with them as well. Beautiful family right there.
We actually asked that family why they were in green.
Yeah.
And the lady said, because everybody we knew was going to be in red, white, and blue, and we wanted to stand out. So we all dressed in green. And I went, good enough for me.
That is so cool. On the green mount. That is, wow. That's really cool there.
16, 17, and 18 at Quail Hollow. The way that this course was set up, it's not typically the way it's set normally. They have the Wells Fargo tournament there every year, And so 18 is typically this year for the President's Cup was 15. So 16, 17, and 18 were coined the Green Mile because they were long holes. There was, I think one of the pictures I may have sent you, Biggs, has two people there that were 479-yard par 4.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a long hike around 16, 17, and 18. So, but a cool experience. The great people there, a lot of fun, good attitudes from the North Carolinians,
So
and I'm ready to go back next year.
wanna-
Next year is in Canada, so it's not going to be too far.
Yeah, but what I want to know is how come you didn't show your goodie bag what you won? That's what I want.
I should have.
You know what? I think if you have access to it, because I know we still got a few minutes left for this segment, but we're going to invite you to be with us for the next segment towards the end. Our last
matter
one.
of fact,
Yeah,
we are all about 6 minutes away before unboxing this. I haven't even opened it yet. I wanted to do it with you guys first.
yes.
That's
So
right.
we're going to do that in about 5 or 6 minutes, and when we finish this segment, maybe you can go and get that nice bag that you were talking about, or whatever other goodies that they gave you during that tournament, so you could show the people like, hey, this is
You,
what
you would think for a tea gift they'd give you a real Rolex.
Yeah, right.
They probably gave all the rich people the Rolex, and the media guys they got the nice looking bag if they want.
You know, I've used that term. I'm in the media, and somehow that just didn't work on me.
It's not. You know,
Well, I did stick around to talk to you guys further, right?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't buy it at all.
Well, you had a conversation with the guys from Rolex, so that has to be cool for sticking around.
We got to shake hands with them, and the U.S. president of Rolex was there. So yeah, it was cool.
Did you get his business card so you could like interview him and stuff like that?
We can make that happen.
I think that would be kind of cool. You know,
I mean, we couldn't even use the term, hey, we can review Rolex for you because everybody knows what Rolex is. There's no reviewing.
Pick me.
Yeah, no, but I think it'd be interesting, you know what I mean? Because we have so many things out there, but Rolex has been around for a long time. You know what I mean?
They are so entrenched in the PGA Tour that would be a good interview to have on.
I think so. So I'm sure I know you.
You know what? I am
I
surprised.
know you got the card.
But I know they're higher than that. But I'm surprised that Rolex has not dipped into the smartwatch industry.
Okay, so the answer to that, from my standpoint, is why do it?
Right? Yeah.
You don't need to at that point.
Yeah, a few years ago, one of the other major watch companies did that, and they kind of backed away from it. It's like kind of why.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is too. So back when I was living in Wisconsin, I knew a buddy of mine that didn't like Apple watches, or he likes an actual time watch.
Yeah,
you know that. The old-fashioned winded
something the
watch.
Millennials can't do anymore,
right? You know, can't tell. If you put a Roman numeral in front of a millennial, they have no clue.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
But what he did find, and Greg, it might be the company you're maybe talking about. He found an actual watch that was a smartwatch.
Yeah.
So what happened was he got this watch, and the things would go, like if he got a text message, it would go to 2:00 or whatever the case might be,
right?
You know, and it would indicate he got a text, because you could set it to contacts. So if Bill texts me and I set him to 2:00, it would go to 2:00 and then go back to the regular time, and it would tell me that, hey, you got a text message from Bill at,
that would drive me crazy.
Yeah. 10 minutes ago it was 11:15, and now it's 2:00.
Gotta go. I'll be like that little rat.
Can you imagine a millennial doing it? It happened to a millennial. What? My watch at 2:00. That's why I'm late for work.
Well, the one that did it with golf was Tag Hour a few years ago, and they actually had the connection to when you were on the golf course. It was working pretty much the same way all the GPS stuff does now. except they have pretty much stayed away from that lately.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you got to experience that. Maybe next time we can experience it with you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You
So what's with the hats?
Well, this was our guest that we had on Shervo
Just before you.
just before
okay.
you.
Oh,
And
you guys have other guests on besides me?
absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah,
Want to make sure
yeah.
You, my friend, are no longer a guest anyway.
That's right.
Oh,
You're like a guest.
You're part of the staff.
Yeah, man.
Ah,
So it's
Wow.
cool, man. How do you like to pay?
oof, I love it. I love all the extra zeros behind that decimal point.
Those zeros are amazing. You know what? This show pays so much. I know you know this, Mr. Wise. Back in the day when they actually had candy for a penny, like they would have the big blows. They had them for a penny, or a Tootsie Roll for a penny, and all.
We couldn't even buy one.
You can't even buy a piece. You can't even get a piece of the wrapper after somebody ate one now. But you go, and how much time has passed by. But yes, that's how much we get paid. 0.00000, and we still smile and we still love it. That's what it's about. It's about reporting and having
17
content.
years into this, and here we are.
That's it.
The happiest guys in golf.
Yes, we
Can
are.
you imagine if I was to add in all the money I invested in this over the 17 years?
You might be rich, maybe.
I might have a bank account.
Yeah. It's an amazing concept.
I love it. You know, I love doing it for these guys out there that's watching, that, you know, that's really enjoys our shows, and, you know, especially on the TV side after we implemented that last year, and you know, people are really
it's
liking
totally different when you watch it. I know Biggs told me to watch it on the big TV, and I did. And before, when we used to do the interviews and stuff, and I'm on my computer and everything, I used to have it small. But then I grew to appreciate the full, 15.6 inches on the laptop. And then when you put it on the big TV and you're watching it, you're like, wow, that's really cool. You know what I mean? So I like the visual side of it.
And if you have one of those smart TVs, you could set the notifications for when a new episode is posted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, you have YouTube app already on those smart TVs.
Comes on Facebook. It comes everything.
Yeah.
You can see it because I get the notifications for Facebook when we go up on there.
And soon we are working with LinkedIn, and soon it will be on LinkedIn as well. So
we've made a lot of ground over the last week since we decided that we want to go LinkedIn Live, and we're going to be there. So we're almost there. We're going to be there way before the PGA show comes on, but we're out of time.
Speaking of, Greg, you're going to hang out with us for Product of the Week, correct?
Yes, I've been told that.
He was informed.
Do I have to go run and find my things that I got from the Rolex event?
Yes, you do.
All right.
Yes.
More of Big's Golf Talk coming your way right after this. Coming up next, it is Big's Product of the Week.